Ever notice how like we all kind of hit those same walls,
Mm-hmm.
you know, setbacks, roadblocks, those things.
Yeah.
But some people, they kind of bounce back, learn, and keep moving, and some get stuck in the same rut.
Mm-hmm.
So what is it? What's that hidden thing that makes some people just power through?
Well, that's what we are going to dig into today, right? Like,
Yeah,
why do we fail? What are the psychological reasons? And how do we break free from that, you know?
I like that. Break free.
Yeah.
So we've been looking at this article called Why You Keep Failing, the hidden psychology behind success.
Oh, okay.
And it's all based on real research,
Yeah.
psychology studies and stuff.
Interesting.
So what we're going to do today is pull out the most juicy bits and see what we can all learn from it.
Yeah.
Right? Help us understand our own patterns and how to actually reach those goals we have.
Love it.
So the article really starts strong.
Mm.
It goes right for the fear of failure,
Okay.
but it's not just like butterflies or,
Yeah.
being a little nervous.
No, not at all.
It's deeper than that.
It can really be like this mental paralysis, right? Like a full stop. Yeah, the article talks about how that fear of messing up, it can literally stop you from taking risks. The risks you need to take to move forward.
Makes sense.
Or even just starting something new.
Oh, I feel
Because
yeah.
you're so focused on avoiding that pain of failure
Yeah.
that you end up doing nothing.
Like you're so scared of falling, you don't even try to stand up.
Exactly. And then that article goes on to mention this thing called self-handicapping.
Oh, yeah. That one got me.
It's a fascinating concept.
Super counterintuitive.
Totally. Researchers Carver and Shire back in '98, they found that people sometimes they almost sabotage themselves.
Yeah.
Like they get in their own way to avoid really feeling that failure. Think of it like this. You've got this student who's worried about failing an exam, right? So what do? They stay up all night playing video games.
Oh, no.
Then if they bomb the test, well, they've got a ready-made excuse. I was so tired.
Right.
But really, it's a way to shield themselves from that deeper fear, like maybe I'm not smart enough.
It's like that ego protection thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's subtle, but powerful. I once worked with this guy who always missed deadlines, for big presentations.
Oh, boy.
Turns out he was terrified of being judged, The scrutiny that comes with success.
It's like setting up your own escape route almost.
Totally. So the article then digs into this whole idea of mindset, which we hear a lot about these days.
Yeah, fix versus growth.
Exactly, that's the one.
Lay it on us.
Psychologist Carol Dweck did a ton of work on this. A fixed mindset is that belief that you're born with a certain amount of intelligence or talent
Okay.
and that it can't really change. You're either good at something or you're not.
I know people like that.
Right. So folks with this mindset, they often avoid challenges because they see failure as proof that they're just not good enough.
So it's like if you believe you're bad at public speaking, one bad presentation would just solidify that.
Totally. And you might just avoid it altogether. On the flip side, a growth mindset is the belief that your abilities can be developed
Through practice.
hard work, learning. So setbacks, they're not seen as a sign of weakness, but as opportunities to learn and get better.
So like feedback.
Exactly. They understand that mastery takes time and, even mistakes.
So how do we switch that up? How do we cultivate a growth mindset?
Yeah.
The article had some tips, Rod.
It did. First, you got to consciously reframe failure. Don't see it as this final judgment,
Yeah.
but as feedback. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Every stumble has a lesson in it if you're willing to look.
I like that.
Second, challenge that inner voice. When you hear yourself saying, I can't do this, add yet to the end.
Yeah.
That tiny word, it acknowledges that you're not there yet, but you can be.
It's hopeful.
It is. And lastly, push yourself a little each day. Do something outside your comfort zone. It could be small, but those little things, they build resilience and expand what you believe is possible.
Like a muscle.
Exactly. The more you stretch it, the stronger it gets.
Love that analogy. All right, so we talk fear of failure, but then the article gets kind of sneaky,
Yeah.
It talks about this invisible enemy, self-sabotage.
Yeah, it sounds crazy, right?
Why would we do that to ourselves?
It seems counterintuitive, but there's a lot going on under the surface. One thing is the fear of success itself.
What?
Yeah, sometimes we're scared of the changes success might bring.
More responsibility.
More responsibility, yeah. New expectations, maybe even feeling like we don't fit in anymore.
It's like we don't think we deserve it.
Right. That feeling of unworthiness. The article had this example of someone avoiding promotions, classic self-sabotage.
Oh, yeah, like you're about to win and then you trip.
Exactly. And this ties into imposter syndrome, that feeling like you're a fraud even when you're clearly not.
Like, I'm just faking it.
Yeah. And Kearns and others did research on this in 2008. People with imposter syndrome, they think their success is due to luck or other people.
Not their own hard work.
Right. And they're terrified of being found out, so they might procrastinate or downplay their achievements.
Oh, that's so sad.
It is. The article also talked about this comfort zone trap, which I think we all fall into sometimes.
Oh, yeah, big time.
Our brains, they love predictability even when the situation isn't great.
Even if it's bad for us.
Exactly. Because change takes energy, and our brains, they're efficient, you know?
Right.
They want to stick with what's familiar, even if it's not ideal, like staying in a bad relationship or a job you hate.
Right. It's easier to stay miserable than to risk the unknown.
Yeah. Baumeister's research back in '98 showed this tendency to conserve energy by sticking to habits.
It's like that saying, better the devil you know.
Exactly. So how do we break free?
Yeah, good question.
The article suggests reframing your identity.
Hmm.
Start using affirmations, like, I am capable and deserving of success. Visualize yourself already having achieved your goals.
It's like rewiring your brain.
It is. And also make a point of stepping outside that comfort zone regularly. Challenge yourself, try new things, have those tough conversations, anything that stretches you a little.
So discomfort equals growth.
Exactly. You're training your brain to see it that way.
Okay, so we covered fear of failure, self-sabotage, and now the article goes for procrastination.
Class.
The discipline deficit, as it calls it.
Everyone's struggle, right?
Why do we put things off?
Well, the article says it's that instant gratification thing.
We want it now.
We want it now. We're wired to choose that quick pleasure over the long-term reward.
Like scrolling instead of working.
Exactly. And research by Steele in 2007 shows that procrastination is linked to impulsivity and a lack of self-regulation.
So, like, we can't control those impulses.
Yeah, we go for the easy thing.
Yeah.
And the article stresses how important it is to have clear goals.
Yeah.
Because vague goals like, I want to be successful, they don't give your brain a clear target.
No direction.
Right. Locke and Latham did a ton of research on this back in 2002, and they found that specific challenging goals, they really motivate us.
So instead of get in shape, it should be run 3 times a week.
Exactly. The more specific, the better. The article mentions this 5-minute rule for beating procrastination.
Oh, I love that one.
Oh.
Tell me more.
It's so simple, right? You just commit to working on the task you're avoiding for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Most of the time, the hardest part is starting. So once you get going, you often find it's easier to keep at it.
It's like tricking your brain.
It is. And then there's the SMART goal method.
Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound.
You got it. It's all about clarity and having a way to track your progress. The article gave a great example. Instead of, I want to be successful, try, I'll increase my income by 20% this year by starting a side business.
Much more powerful.
Way more powerful.
So clear goals and breaking things down seem key.
Yeah.
The last big point in the article was about our inner voice.
Oh,
That constant chatter in our heads.
It's powerful stuff.
It really is. So what does the article say about that?
It talks about negative self-talk and that I'm not good enough feeling.
Ugh. I know that one.
We all do. And it often comes from past experiences, messages we've internalized over time. And it leads to these limiting beliefs. And Davidson and Begley's research in 2012 showed that this kind of self-talk can actually trigger our fear center in the brain.
Whoa. So it's not just annoying, it's actually harmful.
It is. It makes it harder to take risks and believe in ourselves.
Like our brain is working against us.
It can feel that way. And then there's confirmation bias.
Explain that one.
So Tversky and Kahneman did some amazing work on this. And basically our brains, they look for information that confirms what we already believe.
So if I think I'm unlucky, I'll only notice the bad stuff.
Exactly. You'll filter out the good stuff, and that just reinforces that belief. The article said your mindset literally shapes your reality.
It's like we create our own reality.
In a way we do. So how do we quiet that inner critic?
Yeah. Any tips?
The article has a few tips. Challenge those negative thoughts when they pop up. Ask yourself, is this really true? Look for evidence for and against that thought. Often you'll find it's not based on facts. Another thing is to replace that negativity with affirmations. Choose positive statements and repeat them regularly.
Even if it feels weird at first.
Even if it feels weird. It can rewire your thinking. And lastly, try practicing gratitude and visualization. Focus on what you're thankful for and imagine yourself succeeding.
Train your brain to be positive.
Exactly. Okay, so to wrap things up, the article gives us 4 steps to break free from failure.
Hit me with them.
Number 1, identify your patterns. Look back at past setbacks and see if there are any common threads, mistakes or beliefs that keep popping up.
Become a failure detective.
Exactly. Number 2, take small, consistent action. Progress comes from daily effort, not huge leaps. Use a habit tracker if it helps.
Like building momentum.
Yes,
Yeah.
little by little. Number 3, build resilience. This means working on your mindset. Read books on psychology, try meditation, anything that helps you challenge those limiting beliefs.
Create a supportive mental environment.
I like that. And finally, surround yourself with high achievers. People who are positive and motivated, their energy can be contagious.
We are who we hang out with.
This is so true.
So it sounds like overcoming failure is less about what happens to us and more about how we react.
Totally. It's about understanding our own psychology, those thoughts and beliefs that hold us back.
We've talked about fear of failure, self-sabotage, procrastination, and that inner critic.
All those invisible enemies.
But by understanding them, we can start to change.
Absolutely. And the article ends with a powerful question. It asks, now it's your turn. What failure pattern will you break today?
Wow, that's a good one.
It is. It's a call to action to take what we've learned and actually do something about it.
Don't just listen. Do
Yes,
something.
exactly. Make a change today.
I love that.
Yeah.
So much to think about. Thank you for this deep dive.
My pleasure.
Until next time.
See you then.